She doesn't want me. She wants you. I'm coming for you. Heir of the Witch was written and directed and produced by Victoria Ubel, who also stars as Anna, a seamstress that is very, very bright and very good at what she does. She came over from Moldova and has a tragic backstory. Obviously, if you're in a horror movie called Heir of the Witch, how could you have anything other than a tragic backstory? But nevertheless, Victoria Ubel wore a lot of hats on set. Literally so many goddamn hats. I'm amazed that she didn't sustain a neck injury wearing all those goddamn hats. To be fair, when you have a small crew and a small budget, you gotta have ingenuity. And if you feel you can wear that many hats and do that stuff, there you go. More power to you. So yeah, she's a seamstress. She wants to fit in high society and makes dresses and various things for people. We know this because we hear pieces of dialogue telling us this. And also we see a few scenes with a sewing machine. And also there's a witch that is tied to Anna in a fairly obvious way. I think it's probably, easy to figure out since it's called Heir of the Witch, that it's probably a familial tie. And from there, Anna has to solve this mystery before her entire life is history. Heir of the Witch Tales, woohoo! Okay, so this is available for around $7 on Amazon to rent. And I plunked that down because you know what? Good, bad, or indifferent, I will plunk down money to watch a horror movie because I'm always willing to support indie projects and support people that want to get out there and make their own movie. And this is apparently based on a Moldovan legend or short story or something. I'm not actually totally familiar with that culture, but about a witch that, let's just say if there's a certain bad death, like dying in the grip of a powerful rage, a curse is born, like how The Grudge said. That's basically it. And, well, the curse keeps getting passed down, through the bloodline of the women in the family. And now it's been passed down to Anna. But she will not embrace it. She will reject it. She will live her life, take care of her aunt, and also certain things happen throughout this movie. I will say right now that while I appreciate the effort, this should have been a short movie. This maybe had 40 minutes worth of material and was stretched out to 90 minutes. Now, maybe there's just something that I just wasn't getting here. But for any of the positives, and there were a few positives, there were a few funny kills in this. There was one about 30 minutes in that I thought was just fucking hilarious. And I thought this movie had leaned into the camp aspect a little bit while respecting the backstory of this witch creature. Then that would have worked. Unfortunately, the horror elements were few and far between. This is almost a Lifetime movie of the week at times, with a romance and with stuff, and with the pacing and the tonal shifts were all over the goddamn map. I mean, there were a lot of nightmare sequences. And I'm not saying don't watch this movie, but I'm just saying don't have high expectations when you watch it. I look forward to seeing what else everybody can do, and Victoria obviously has passion for making films, and hopefully something good can come of this. I don't really feel that this was very good. I was rather bored during this. I was laughing quite a bit during this. Again, maybe there's just something that I didn't fucking get. Watch it if you want. Watch it with some friends. There are worse horror movies that have come out this year. But this is, for any of the positives that this movie had, the effort was there, but the execution was nice. So yeah, I'm going to get into spoilers here. There really isn't a ton to spoil because, again, the tonal shifts are all over the goddamn map. Again, rent it for a few bucks. See what happens. I mean, come on. What's a few bucks out of your pocket to support filmmakers as they continue to grow and try to achieve their dreams? So, nevertheless, let's get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay, so, yeah, we have the scrolling text about all this, and Victoria narrates it. I do wonder if Victoria also maybe made the coffee and ran the film to the post-production thing, and they just had her run everything. Again, I'm not doubting the effort here. I mean, if you're willing to do all that stuff, then clearly you have some passion for your project. And I don't know what the budget of this was. I imagine it wasn't all that high. Some of the makeup effects were fine. They were fine for what they were. There is Nicholas, played by Ben Haltzmuller, who is in an unhappy marriage with Chloe, Deanna Rochelle. And basically, Chloe kind of just throws Anna to the side. I mean, she treats her kind of like a piece of meat because, she's not part of high society. Well, Nicholas and Anna end up getting together because Chloe's in a very unhappy marriage, and Anna happens to be this bright, beautiful, it kind of reminds me of Camille Bell from, When a Stranger Calls. No, seriously, she actually reminds me of that, and I mean that with respect. So, just a lot of hilarity in the nighttime scenes. There's one point where, Anna's leaving, and then she sees a witch just staying out at a stop sign. What if nobody came out there? Was this witch just going to stay? I really need to say these pieces of dialogue, but here we go. And there you are. So, yeah, just roll down your window. It's fine. She's coming for you. She wants you. And yeah, the aunt isn't doing well. The aunt ends up dying later on, just so you know. The aunt offers a bunch of exposition. Anna has a lot of nightmares, does a lot of work, wears a lot of hats in real life and also on camera. And I'm trying to be nice here because I appreciate the effort, but I did not like this movie really at all. At the end of the day, anything that I liked about this was just stamped out with a really, really bad forced romance. And just jutting all over the goddamn place. Nicholas tries to set him up, tries to do a double date thing. He clearly likes Anna, and Chloe's like, hey, let's introduce him to your coworker Martin, who's a player. Martin, played by Julian Bertano, who really doesn't get a whole lot of stuff to do in this. Chloe basically just blows her off during this whole thing, like, oh, you don't want to date this guy who's clearly a player? There's this blonde that shows up at this party, and Anna has to also take care of Chloe's mentally deficient brother, I guess is really the nicest way I can say right there. He is a child in an adult's body, essentially. Anna sees a blonde that looks familiar, and it turns out this blonde actually is a conduit for the witch, or one of the versions of the witch, or whatever. And the blonde ends up taking Martin out into the woods, gets her tits out, and it turns out to be the witch, and she kills him. Oh, so racist. Of course, the black guy dies first. Kid, they had to do something. And then Anna also has a babysit. Anna has a lot of time on her hand in between taking care of her aunt, making dresses for people, and being a nanny to people. When does she have time to sleep? Maybe that's the whole point, that all this stuff could be in Anna's head. Maybe she's not happy, she's not feeling bad. She doesn't have sunshine in a bag, and she is useless, but not for long because, well, this movie keeps plodding on. So, among the two girls she's watching, this little girl disappears, is in the forest. There is a forest force field for some reason. And then the little girl says she doesn't want me, she wants you. And the tone is all over the map is what I'm noting. Sometimes there are some funny moments, like when Martin got his throat ripped out. And Anna just goes along with all this stuff. Nicholas just being, kind of lecherous towards her. I mean, it's not romantic, it's lecherous. I mean, he's flat out preying on her, but nevertheless. Something about her father being a creep. It turns out the dad actually beat the mother to death, thinking that, she was doing something bad. And we get this told in flashbacks. More flashbacks, more witchcraft. Her mom was actually alive when she got buried, maybe, kind of. Maybe the witch is in her head doing this stuff. And she makes a bracelet for Nicholas. It's a whirlwind romance, and he gets her pregnant. Oh boy, that was really goddamn quick. Also, Dustin is there. Or maybe he's not there and she's imagining this stuff. Maybe she's having a breakdown. That's entirely possible. I felt like this movie was breaking down as things went on. And Anna's suddenly pregnant. She's upset that Nicholas won't spend any time with her, despite the fact that he's wearing different hats. And also, yeah, he got his mistress pregnant. Probably shouldn't be doing that. Probably shouldn't be doing that regardless of who you are. And then we get horror cliches with a witch attacking, just and a ballerina witch with 3 faces. That was kind of cool. They could have done more of that. and just yell at the sewing machine, headbutt it. That always works out when you headbutt inanimate objects. The aunt dies during this whole thing. And I see a witch in the shower, and there's not a lot of Shadow Bay. And if there was some misfortune, I think I'd be watching the shower today. That was not a very good version of that Orgy or New Order song. So, suddenly Chloe calls her. Because Chloe's aware of all this. There's been all this shit going on where, like, this one woman that wanted Anna to make a dress spotted her and Nicholas together. So now she doesn't want her to make a dress. And with all the stuff that's going on, this is all being thrown at you, but none of it is landing, except with a resounding thud on the floor and then spilling out like brain matter. And Chloe calls her. She wants to talk to her, and it turns out that Chloe, is aware of this. And I know Nicholas is going to leave me, but just don't have it happen for a little bit. Just like as Wilson Phillips said, hold on for one more day, and they'll show your way. And then she has a fight with her. She, her, too many pronouns, pal. Sorry, Vince McMahon. Chloe had a gun. Terrible rendition of Janie's Got a Gun. And Anna ends up stabbing her with scissors because Anna's losing it, totally losing it. But then she realizes, wait a second, the curse needs to die with me, so I'm going to go hang myself on the swing. And then the witch shows up after she dies and cuts the baby out. And the curse lives on. Again, I'm not saying that this movie shouldn't... I'm not saying don't watch this. I'm not saying don't support filmmakers as they try to live their dream. But was this movie good? No, it really wasn't. I'm sorry. It wasn't. It wasn't to me. I happily supported it with a few bucks. And that's the only reason why I feel the need to critique or praise, as it were. I don't pirate these movies. Support the filmmakers. Why not? Yeah, it gets an F. I'm sorry. It's not good at all. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.